بۆ دەستکەوتنی ئەم بەرهەمانە سەردانمان بکەن بەم ناونیشانە: هەولێر دوو سایدی بە هەرکەی کۆن بەرامبەر ئامادەیی ژیاری ناحکومی. بۆ زانیاری زیاتر پەیوەندی بەم ژمارەیەوە بکەن: 0 201 55 55. نووسینگەی لاس.
بەناوی خودای گەورە میهرەبان، سڵاوتان لەبێت قوتابیانی پۆلی 12 میزانستی، تایبەت قوتابیانی ئازیزانمان لە سیستەمی ئینگلیزی. بۆ ئەم جارش لەگەڵتان دەبم لە پێشکەشکردنی وانەکانمان لە بابەتی فیزیا لە بۆ سیستەمی ئینگلیزی. ئێمە لە وانەی ڕابردوو باسی chapter 1 rotational motion and the law of the gravity, and today we will talk about constant angular speed that has zero angular acceleration. دەمەوێت لێرە سەرەتا دووبارەی بابەتی پێشوو بکەمەوە. لە بابەتی پێشوو لە angular speed rotational motion, that motion of a body that spins about an axis like a free wheel, and earth that rotates around fixed about its an axis, and any point at distance r from the center of the any body that rotates around its axis, it has a circular motion about the center. This very well, it has angular motion, but every point on this very well has circular motion except the point on the center. هەموو خاڵەکانی سەر ئەم فێری وەڵەتیان هەیە circular motionیان هەیە بە مەرجێ خاڵەکە لەچێ لە سنتەر نەبی. Any point at distance r from the center, هەر خاڵێک کە دوور بێ لە سنتەر has circular motion except on the center. And we talked about circular motion of a particle on a circular path. Circular motion needs a circular path in a constant radius and around a fixed axis. For example, Earth, it has circular motion around the sun. And we talked about angular displacement, delta theta, the angle through which a point, line, or a body is rotated a specified direction. Why specified direction? Because angular displacement is a vector quantity and about a specified axis. And angular displacement is units in SI by rad. And delta theta angular displacement is equal to delta S over the radius. And we talked about angular speed, the rate at which a body rotates about an axis, usually expressed in rad per second, rad over second. And omega, the symbol of angular speed, we say omega delta theta over delta t. And we talked about angular acceleration is the time rate of changing on angular speed expressed in rad per second squared. And the alpha is equal to change in omega. It means omega final minus omega initial over delta t. That is. Today we will talk about constant angular speeds have zero angular acceleration. If you know that the omega is constant, you should know the alpha is equal to the 0, and we use for omega average, just we have this equation, omega average is equal to delta theta over delta t. We had two things that have constant speed and constant angular speed, and its angular acceleration was 0. This thing is that Earth, that it has two motion. Axial angular speed around its axis, when the Earth it has the angular speed around its axis, omega is equal to delta theta over delta t. For one cycle, for one revolution, it needs 24 hours. We convert to second times 3,600 omega for axial angular speed of Earth, and sometimes we say around its axis, omega is equal to 7.3 times 10 to the power negative 5 rad per second, and this is constant, and its alpha, its angular acceleration is 0. And we have another motion, the motion of Earth around the Sun. We say orbit angular speed, and sometimes we say the motion of Earth around the Sun. For one revolution, omega is equal to delta theta over delta t. Theta, angular displacement, is equal to pi for one revolution. The time need is 365.25 times 24 hours times 3,600. This number is equal to 1.99 times 10 to the power negative 7 rad per second. This number is constant. Again, angular acceleration is 0. You should know the angular acceleration for Earth. Axial angular speed or orbit angular speed, the angular acceleration is 0 because of angular speed is constant. Because angular speed is constant. And we had o'clock, second hand, or minute hand, or hour hand. For second hand, one revolution is equal to 2 pi rad over 60 second is equal to negative 0.1046 rad per second. This is for minutes, for second hand. You know, for second hand, one revolution by 60 seconds, or we can say 1 minute. This number is constant for what? For second hand. For second hand. And for minute hand, we say negative 2 pi over negative 2 pi over an hour. For the minute hand, for one revolution, it needs an hour, or 3,600 second is equal to 0.0017 rad per second. And for hour hand is negative 2 pi over 12 hours. We convert to second. We multiply by 3,600 rad per second is equal to this number. All numbers are constant. All numbers have 0 angular acceleration. Do you know what? Because the angular speed for everyone is constant. ئەو ژمارانەی کە لێرە باسمان کرد لە بۆ سوڕانەوەی زەوی لە بۆ خولانەوەی زەوی چما دیتەوە ئەنگولەر سپید لە بۆ هەر یەکەیان زەوی ئەگزیل ئەنگولەر سپیدەکەی ئەو ژمارەیە نەگۆڕا and circular and sometimes we say orbit angular speed around the sun angular speedەکەی ئەو ژمارە دەرچوو نەگۆڕا و لە بۆ کاتژمێر سێتەنی جوڵاومان هەبوو کە سێکەند هاند پێی دەڵێن چرکەژمێر منت هاند کە پێی دەڵێن خولەک ژمێر و ئاور هاند پێی دەڵێن کاتژمێر ژمێر هەر سێکیان ئەنگولەر سپیدەکەیان چییە؟ کۆنستانتە ئەو ژمارانە ناگۆڕێن ئەوەی کە ئێمە هەیتمان لە کتێبەکە چێوچەیە ئەوەی کە هەیتمان orbit angular speed for earth and second hand for o'clock ئێستا لێرە پرسیارێکمان هەیە لە پێداچوونەوە لە section review and chapter review یەکەم جار ئەتوو دەبی بزانی ئەوانەی کە کۆنستانتن ئەنگولەر ئەگزەرشەکەیان زیرۆیە ئەوەی کە هەیتمان لە بابەتی ئێمە دووشت بوو o'clock and earth ئانەوە تازە هەمووی سەلمان ئەو ژمارانە دەتوانی لەبەری بکەی ئەگەر لەبیریشت کرد دەتوانی جارشکە بیسەلمێنیەوە ئێستا review and aces 1 equation number 6 how long it means find the time does it take the second hand you know that the second hand omega is equal to negative 2 pi over 60 rad per second ئەوە لێرە باسمان کرد گوتمان لە بۆ سێکەند هاند ئۆمێگایەکەمان لە بۆ یەک ڕیڤۆلوشن چەند شێست چرکە یاخود یەک منتی پێویستە بەڵام لە SI دەبی یەکەکەی بنووسین of clock to move through 4 rad کاتێک angular displacementەکەی دەڵێن negative 4 rad لەبەرەوەی ئەتوو دەزانی کە second hand دایرێکشنەکەی بە دایرێکشنی clockwise direction okay given and unknown delta theta angular displacement is equal to negative 4 by rad and find delta t you know that omega 4 second hand is equal to negative you can say 2 pi over 60 or negative 0.1047 rad per second this is constant لە پرسیار ئەوەت ناداتێت و خۆت دەیزانی دەبی خۆت ئەوە بزانی ئەگەر لەبیرت کرد دەڵێ لە بۆ second hand 1 revolution by 60 second 2 pi over 60 second you know that omega is equal to delta theta angular displacement over delta t cross product delta t is equal to delta theta over omega is equal to negative 4 over negative 2 pi divided by 60 is equal to 32 seconds. And we have another equation number 27. Find the average speed or angular speed of Earth about the Sun in radians per second. We have a note, Earth orbits the Sun once every 3 365.25 days. Find the average angular speed for the Earth around the Sun by rad per second. Rad per second. You know that delta theta for once it means one reef. That's equal to 2 pi rad. The time interval delta t is equal to 365.25 days convert to second. Is equal to 365.25 times what? Times 24 hour times 3,600 seconds. Okay. Let's to find the angular speed. Omega average is equal to delta theta over delta t. Theta is equal to 2 pi over what? Over 365.25 times 24 hour times 3,600 and is equal to 1.99 times 10 to the power negative 7 rad per second. لو پرسیاری چمان دیتەوە ئۆمێگای زەوی بە دەوری خۆردا ئەو ژمارەی کۆنستانتە دەتوانی لەبەری بکەی ئەگەریشنا دەتوانی دیسان ئەو شیکاری کە کردمان دووبارە شیکاری بکەیتەوە. زۆر باشە. پرسیارێکی وزاریمان هەیە فاینەڵ ئێگزام دەڵێ دلتا ثێتا is equal to 30 degrees. Find delta theta, delta t, sorry. Find time interval for this angular speed. You know that the angular speed for second hand of a clock is equal to negative 2 pi over what? Over 60 rad. 60 rad per second. لێرە دەتوانی ئەوەی بگۆڕی لە بۆچێ لە بۆ ڕاد بیکە SI unit دەشتوانی هەر بە دیگری شیکاری بکەین. ئێمە دێین بە هەردوو شێوە شیکاری دەکەین. دلتا ثێتا 30 degree times pi over 180 is equal to pi over 6 rad. And omega average is equal to delta theta over delta t. Omega average we have, and you know that is equal to negative 2 pi over 60 is equal to delta theta negative what? Pi over 6 and find delta t. Negative cancelled, cross product 2 pi delta t is equal to what? Is equal to 60 times what? Times pi over 6. Pi cancel. 6 and 61, 10. 2 delta t is equal to 10, and delta t is equal to 5 seconds. And ودشتواني أتولي دلتا فتاكي هربة حالكي هربة 30 degree delta t is equal to negative 30 degrees because the direction of the second hand is the direction of the clockwise, and you know that for second hand omega average is equal to, for one cycle, 360 degrees over 60 degree per second. And you know that the angular speed, average angular speed, is equal to delta theta over delta t. Omega average, you know that, is equal to 360 degree over 60 is equal to, we have delta, this is negative because of the direction of the clockwise, and again this is negative, delta theta negative 30 over delta t, cross product again, negative and negative cancel it, 360 degree delta t is equal to, this is degree again, 60 times 30 degree cancelled, delta t is equal to 60 times 30 over 360 is again equal to 5 seconds. ئارەزومەندانەیە دەتوانی یونتەکەت بگۆڕی لە بۆ ڕات، دەتوانی تەکەی هەر بە دگری دابنێ، بەڵام ئۆمێگا ئەڤرێج لە بۆ چێ؟ لە بۆ second hand is equal to 360 degrees over 60 seconds. Okay, now we have section review 1.1. Equation number 1, convert the following angles in degree to radian. 35 and 128 A. 35 times degree to rad pi over what? Over 180 is equal to any number. B. We have 128 times again pi over 180 is equal to any number. Degree to radians times pi over 180 or 2 pi over 360, no difference between them. That is, and now we have the equation number 2. A mosquito lands on a phonograph records 5 centimeters from the center. 5 centimeters from the center. Do you know what? This is radius. Any point from any point, or we can say the distance between any point to the center, that is radius. If the record turns clockwise, delta theta angular displacement and arc length is negative, that the mosquito travels in an arc length of 5 centimeters. What is the mosquito angular displacement? Find the delta theta. Do you know what I told you that when delta S is equal to delta theta, delta S is equal to radius delta theta is equal to 1 rad and 57.3 degrees and 0.16 revolution. Or you can solve, I told you this is radius because from the center, the distance between any point to the center, it means that radius. And the arc length, this is delta S, by clockwise direction, clockwise, delta S and delta theta are negative. You know that delta theta is equal to delta S over R, and R equal to what? It's equal to delta S over delta theta, and delta S, we have both delta theta and R. Delta S and R, and arc length is negative 5 centimeter, 10 to the power negative 2, and the radius 5 centimeter again, that one 10 to the power negative 2 is equal to negative, R usually positive is equal to negative 1 rad. باسی ئەومان کرد گوتمان ئەگەر arc length و radius یەکسان بوون ئەوە angular displacementەکەی یەکسەر دەتوانی بڵێ یەکسانە بە 1 rad یەکسانە بە 57.3 degree دەتوانێت بڵێ 0.16 revolution. The question number 2, we solve it, and now we have the equation number 3. A bicycle rides along circular track. If the bicycle travels around exactly half the track in 10 seconds, it means that half track delta theta 1.2 revolution equal to pi rad equal to 180 degree. Half the track in 10 seconds, delta t is equal to 10 seconds. What's his average angular speed? Find omega average. تمان هليرا half track. For half track 0.5 revolution, but for full cycle 1 revolution, and quarter cycle we have 1.4 or 0.25 revolution. Okay. ئێستا بین شکاری ئەو پرسیارەش بکەین، بەڵام پرسیارەکە لە باتی ئەنگولەر دیسپلیسمنتم بداتێ چی گوتیتی exactly half the track، یعنی دلتا ثێتا ئەنگولەر دیسپلیسمنتەکەم 1.2 revolution pi rad and 180 degrees. You know that again omega average is equal to delta theta over delta t is equal to pi over 10 is equal to 0.314 rad per second. Okay, that's Equation number 4, physics in action. Find the angular acceleration of a spinous amusement park. Reads that initially travels at 0.5 rad per second and accelerates to 0.6 rad per second during 0.5 second time interval. This is omega initial and this is omega final, and this is the time. Find what? Find angular acceleration. It means find alpha. You know that alpha is equal to what? Is equal to omega final negative omega initial over delta t is equal to omega final 0.6 negative 0.5 over what? Over the time 0.5 is equal to 0.1, 0.5 is equal to 0.2 because of alpha rad per second square. That is, we found the angular acceleration. After that, we have equation number 5. Again, physics in action. What is the instantaneous angular speed of spinning? What? Spinning, again, amusement park. It is that they accelerate from 0.5 rad per second at a constant angular acceleration of 0.2 rad per second square for 1 second. We have time angular acceleration. Find the instantaneous angular speed. It means find omega final, and we have omega initial. You know that alpha is equal to omega final negative omega initial over delta t, and omega final is equal to omega initial minus alpha delta t is equal to omega initial is 0.5 rad per second negative alpha is 0.2 times delta t is 1, 0.2 times 1, 0.2, and 0.5 negative 0.5 minus 0.2 is equal to 0.3. Sorry, this is plus 0.7. This is plus, not negative. Equal to 0.7 watt rad per second because of angular speed. Okay, now we have again review on ACES 1. How many degrees equal pi radians? You know that pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. And how many revolution equal to pi rad? Again, you know 1 revolution is equal to 2 pi, and pi is equal to 0.5 revolution. Delta theta pi rad is equal to 180 rad and 1.2 revolution. Distinguish between linear speed and angular speed. We have definition: speed or linear speed, the time rate of change of position expressed in meter per second, angular speed omega, the rate of which a body rotates about an axis expressed by rad per second. When a wheel rotates about a fixed axis, do all points on the wheel have the same angular speed? Yes. All points on the rigid body must have the same angular speed and angular acceleration. We say yes in order that the shape of the wheel doesn't change and all points perform the same distance at the same time. So we say all points on the rigid body, when this body has angular motion, all points have the same angular speed and angular acceleration. A car on first wheel has an angular displacement of 0.34 rad. If the car moves through an arc length, this is delta S, what's the radius of the first wheel? This is angular displacement and this is arc length. We say delta theta is equal to delta S over R. Delta S is 12 and the radius, delta S 12 and find the radius. When delta theta is equal to delta S over radius, the radius is equal to delta S over delta theta. 12 over 0.34 is equal to any number by meter because of radius. When a wheel is rotated through an angle 35 degrees, a point on this circumference travel through an arc length is 2.5 meter. We can say this is angular displacement number 1 and this is arc length number 1. When the wheels is rotated through angle of what? 35 again delta theta, but by what? By rad. And 35 by again delta theta by revolution. The same point travel through arc length of, this is arc length number 2 and arc length number 3. Respectively, what is the radius of the wheel? You know that the radius is constant and we have 3 angular displacement and 3 arc length. Delta S, number 1, 2, 3. Again, when 1, 2, 3. Delta theta number 1 is 35 degrees times pi over 180 and 35 rad and 35 rev times rev times 2 pi. We must convert all of them to rad because the units of angular displacement in SI unit by rad. Arc length 1 what is 2.5 meter and arc length number 2 is 143 meter and the last one 9 times 2 10 to the power 2 meter. and the radius is equal to what? Is equal to delta S over delta theta for all of them is equal to 4.1 meter because the radius is constant and it doesn't change. We solve it. This is all of them for radius is equal to 4.1 meter for all of them. Okay. Address starts at rest. Do you know what? Start at rest, it means that omega initial is 0. After 3.2, omega initial is 0. After 3.2 seconds, this is delta t time, a constant angular acceleration. The drill turns at a rate of 2,628 rad per second. Find the drill's angular acceleration. We have omega initial is 0. Omega initial is 0. Is equal to 0. And the time is equal to 3.2 seconds. And we have what? We have the final angular speed is equal to 2,628 rad per second. A, find what? Find angular acceleration. And B, find what? Determine the angle through which the drill rotates during this period. Find the angular displacement. Find delta theta. Okay. We have omega initial, delta t, omega final, and alpha. We don't have delta t. جاءت الارستكم دم هاو كشك بكاردينم كدلتاتي تدانبي او هاو كشاني كلواني رابردو باس ما کرد كم equation دلتاتي تدانبو equation number 2 omega final sorry اوانيت ما ليرا ببورن اوانيت ما ليرا چيا angular displacement کا باز نکرا ليرا کەواتە هاوکێشێک بەکاردێنم ئیکوێشنێک بەکاردێنم کە دلتا ثێتای تێدا نەبێت کە دلتا ثێتای تێدا نەبێت ئەوەش کامیانە ئەوەشیان equation number 1 omega final is equal to omega initial plus alpha delta t or you can use alpha is equal to omega final negative omega initial over delta t is equal to omega final to 6 to 8 negative 0 over 3.2 it's equal to 821.2 rad per second squared because of alpha angular acceleration. And find delta theta. Delta theta is equal to omega initial delta t plus 1 over 2 alpha delta t squared. This is 0 because of omega initial is 0. 0 times delta t is 0. Delta theta is equal to 1 over 2 times alpha. We found it 821.2 times 3.2 squared is equal to 4205 rad Why rad? Because of angular displacement. Okay. A tube within a washer goes into its spin cycle, starting from rest. Starting from rest, it means that, again, omega initial is equal to 0. Omega initial is equal to 0. Again, starting from rest, omega initial is 0. And reaching an angular speed, this is omega final, rad per second in delta t 8 seconds. At this point, the lid is opened. The tube slows to rest. Slows to rest, it means that omega initial 2 is equal to omega final 1. Through how many revolutions? Find angular displacement by rad? No, by revolution. While the machine is starting and stopping, find delta theta 1 and delta theta 2. It means find total angular displacement. Total angular displacement. We have starting and stopping. In the starting, omega initial is equal to 0, omega final is equal to 11 pi rad per second, and delta t is equal to 8 seconds. And for stopping, omega initial is equal to omega final 1. Omega final is 0 because the tube slows to rest. Omega final will be 0 and delta t 12 seconds. لێرە بزانە بەکارهێنانی یاسای omega average is equal to delta theta over delta t ئەوە غەڵەتە. نابی ئەو هاوکێشێ بەکاربێ. نابی ئەم ئیکوێشنە بەکاربێ. ئەو ئیلا لە بۆچێ لە بۆ average angular speed. Average angular speed. بەڵام لێرە omega یەکەم 0ە. چی لێ هاتیە؟ Increasing angular speed. گۆڕایە. constant نەبووە. کەواتە acceleration هەبووە. angular acceleration هەبووە. کەواتە نابی ئەو یاسایە بەکاربێ وریابە. کەواتە ئەی چی بکەین باشە؟ Drawing this motion with constant angular accelerations equations. We use equation number 4. We don't have alpha angular acceleration. نەدراوە کراوە باز نەکراوە بۆ هیچ بەکاردێنین ئەوە بەکاردێنین ئەو یاسایی کە angular acceleration تێدا نییە ئەویش equation number 4 delta theta 1 for starting is equal to 1 over 2 omega initial plus omega final times delta t is equal to 1 over 2 what? Omega initial is 0, omega final 11 pi times delta t is 8 seconds. 2 with 8 cancelled. 4 times 11, we have what? We have 4 times 11 is equal to 44 pi by rad. This is for static. And for stopping, again, delta theta 2 is equal to 1 over 2 omega initial plus omega final delta t is equal to, again, 1 over 2, or you can say 0.5, omega initial is the omega final for what? For starting is 11 pi plus omega final for stopping is 0. It will be stopped it will be stopping. Delta t is 12. 2 with 12 cancelled by 6. 6 times 11 is equal to 66 pi by rad. But it said that find the angular displacement by what? How many revolutions? You can say delta theta total is equal to delta theta 1 plus delta theta 2 is equal to what? 44 pi plus 66 pi is equal to 110 pi by rad, and we convert delta theta 110 pi times 1 over 2 pi. 1 over 2 pi is equal to 55 revolution. لو پرسیارە داوایەتی کردبوو ئەوەی کردبوو حوزێکی جلشۆرمان هەیە سەرەتا دەست دەکات بە جوڵەکەی لە وەستانەوە at rest and پاش دەلتاتی 8 سەکەند دەبێتە چەند ئەنگولەر سپیدەکەی دەبێتە 11 pi rad per second. دوای ئەوەی کارەبای لێ دەبڕێت سویچەکە دەکرێتەوە پلاکەکە دەردەهێنرێ پاشان حوزی جلشۆرەکە هەومان دەزانێتی لێ دێ هێواش دەبتەوە تاچی لێ دێ تا دەوەستێتەوە دەڵێن ئۆمێگا ئینیشەڵی هێواش بوونەوەکە و وەستانەوەکەی یەکسانە بە ئۆمێگای فاینەڵی دەستکردن بە جوڵەکەی لە ماوەی 12 چرکەماندا چ دەکات دەوەستێتەوە. دەڵێت چ بدۆزەوە angular displacement by revolutions لە چێ starting and stopping یعنی total ئێستا لەو پرسیارەبی گۆتایە how many revolutions with well, the machine is just starting, delta theta is equal to 22 revolution. Agabi gotaya just starting. Adigabi gotaya how many revolutions while the machine is stopping bas hewash bun. Delta theta kaman dabotan 33 revolution. ئاگاداربە لەو پرسیاری دەڵێت چ بدۆزەوە find the how many revolutions while the machine is just starting is 22 revolution, or find how many revolutions in 8 seconds or during 8 seconds. ئەگەر بیگۆتایە revolutionەکان بدۆزەوە لە ماوەی 8 چرکە یان while machine is starting again ئەتوستەکەی بەس دەلتا ثێتا 1 دەبینی و ئاگاداربە بەس ئەگەر برێ how many revolutions while the machine is stopping or how many revolutions while the machine how many revolutions during 12 seconds ئەو دوو قسەیە how many revolutions while the machine is stopping or during a 12 second ئەوەستەکەی بەس دەلتا ثێتا 2 دەبینیەوە بەڵام لێرە دەڵێتی how many revolutions while the machine is starting and stopping or during 20 seconds. 20 seconds, what does that mean? It means that in 8 seconds and 12 seconds together دیسانستەکەی دێ گشتەکەی دەبینیەوە کە بەو شێوەی کە لێرە دیتمانەوە قوتابیانی بەڕێز لێرەوە کۆتایی دێنین بە ئەوانەی ئەو ڕۆژمان لە سیستەمی ئینگلیزی بابەتی فیزیا تا وانەی داهاتوو لەگەڵتان دەبین هیوادارم بینەرما بوو بن سوودێکمان گەیان دەبێت بە هەمووی ئێوەی بەڕێز هەر شاد و سەرفراز و سەرکەوتوو بن.